So first, let me state what I have often. If you can't make generalizations, you have no wisdom. That's the ability to make generalizations means the ability to make sense of life. It's a big deal. What is a generalization? It is when you see a pattern. I believe that I have a gift, and so I don't take credit for it. I'm calling it a gift. I see patterns based on a few examples. I'll give you one of the biggest examples in my life. In my 20s, I was on an airplane, and I was seated next to a woman who had a vegetarian meal. And wanting to make conversation, I just said to her, "Are you a vegetarian?" Not everyone having a vegetarian meal is vegetarian. And I asked her, yes, she said yes. So my enjoyment in life is to find out why. Whatever the issue is, why. So I asked her, may I ask, why are you a vegetarian? She said, sure. Because we have no right to kill animals. And I remember thinking, when I heard that part, that I respect that. We could live on non-animal food. So she says, we have no right to kill animals. But she didn't stop there. She said, who are we humans to say that we are more valuable than animals? And I remember my shock. I was shocked. I had never heard that before. And so I said to her, well, wait a minute. I totally get it that we may not have a right to kill animals when we have an alternative source food source. But we're not more valuable than animals? Well, let me ask you a question. Thinking this was a rhetorical question. Which would you say first if both were drowning? A person or an animal? Or I think I specifically said a stranger or your dog or a dog or your dog. I guess it was your dog. And there was no answer. She was just quiet. I said, I'm sorry, did you hear my question? She said, yes, I'm thinking. And the skies opened up. And I thought, she's just thinking? You mean there's something to think about? Would you save a dog or a person first? And then what I did based on one example is I made a gigantic generalization that this woman represents vast numbers of people because we live in a secular age. And when you drop people being created in God's image, you end up with human-animal equality. That's based on one experience. One example, I made this gigantic generalization. I've turned out to be right. So the question isn't, can you generalize from one or two examples? It is your generalization accurate, and will you deny that it was accurate when you encounter contrary evidence?